football, they should sign Ezekiel Elliott. I'm waiting for that news to cross. I'm waiting.
I think you're right. That's a good move.
I'm waiting for the news to cross.
He had a dozen touchdowns last year.
Bring the band back together. As Tony Pollard signs a tender and looks like he's going to play for $10 million. Zeke's just got to, I guess, to do the Pulp Fiction thing, not let pride mess with his mind. But
what's the deal, though? Like 1 year, $4 million, something like that? Or a 3
If
plus
I'm the
incentives?
Cowboys, just call him up and say, what's your number? And hear it from him and then whittle it down if that's what you really need to do. Quite frankly. Fans love him. He knows the system. He might just, as you pointed out last week, I don't want to hear from you. I don't want to hear from you. You didn't, I don't want to hear from you.
Look, I've been in that situation.
I know. So, and plus, you join an offense that was on tilt last year, and the quarterback is going to be vastly improved. All I got to do is ask him. I love Dak, man. He's been here. He's a sweetheart of a guy, and he is better than most.
There we go.
Not according to the internet.
Better than most. I understand you make your top 5 list. He's not on it. You make your top 10 list. He's on it.
Is he?
Yeah.
He's not.
Oh, come on.
I don't know, man.
Well, I put the number 10 out there for the moment because that appears to be the magic number of interceptions he will be under this year. Double-digit interceptions last year. He said at his, I believe it was a youth camp. I know who I am, and you can go back and take away half of those off drops. I'm not saying it's on the receiver, but if you cut that in half, then we start talking about those. Nobody's talking about it. Some of it is the offense and them understanding exactly where we are. Mike does an amazing job with those guys. They know where to be, why to be when they're getting looked at. That's going to be a big jump. I won't have 10 interceptions this year. I love that. Mm-hmm. Speak it into existence, Dak.
Yeah, I like that.
Now, he's also saying some of them were, guy dropped it, guy tipped it. Wasn't on me. That's true. Happens. And did he take a little bit of a shot at, McCarthy's offense in a way? Where the guys are going to be, or the guys know where to be, and so it's going to be, obviously we'll just cherry pick what we want to denigrate him. But I mean,
you hit the
15 interceptions right last year, it just was too many. Mm-hmm. But let's be honest, just shoot straight here. It's always with the Dallas Cowboys.
It is.
The weird stuff. Always the weird stuff. Always the weird stuff. Just cut out the weird stuff. Can we cut out the weird stuff? What do I mean by that? As I said, Zeke should come back. Zeke should come back not only because they need him, not only because he might need them.
Oh, yes. Can I finish this sentence for you?
His Cowboys career can't end with that weird play. The snap. Last 2 seasons ended with the weird. And I understand, both of those situations were desperate. And it didn't look good anyway. Last year, that thing was over. I don't know what that play was. 2 years ago,
Dak was hustling.
He was hustling, and the umpire was not hustling enough. But when you're depending on the umpire's 40-yard dash speed, that's weird. Mm-hmm. Cut out the weird stuff. I know that's something that you can't really
he's got to
come out and fully define. You just know it when you see it. It's kind of like that other thing,
Like when your quarterback runs into his center's butt, like that type of weird stuff.
That's a sort of serious. You're getting warmer to what I was referring to in my analogy. Look, cut out the weird stuff. Sign Zeke back and get Dak.
Yeah, Zach, you said it right.
Yeah, get Zach and Dak. Yeah, Zeke and Dak. Get them back. Bring the whole thing back together and tee it up and let it fly.
Last year, PFF, they tracked a stat called turnover-worthy plays. Essentially, that translates to throws that were dangerous enough that they should have warranted an interception.
Yes, sir.
And didn't. And what they found out is he had 6 picks that were essentially deemed not his fault, meaning guys in the wrong spot. Guys, Noah Brown, for instance, dropping a ball, 2 balls that hit him in the hand and got picked for pick 6. And so, 15's a lot. but not all of those. But you can also look at it like this: if you're the quarterback and you throw the ball, it's your fault, and that's how some people are going to view it, no matter what the stats or PFF.
And Noah Brown, that was one that just jumps out at you. So, not all Buckeyes are helpful to the Cowboys. I'm just saying, get the running back, Buckeye back. Get him back. You need him.
Well, hello, good people. Mark Holmes here, and as always, I want to say thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. You know what's funny? I tell you what's funny. I was actually at 9:01 getting on stream tonight. And, of course, we have some Eagle fans in here literally can't even show up in time. Typical Cowboy fan. Eagle fans just can't wait for the show to start. So since you guys are here, let me welcome all of the wonderful Eagle fans, because we know how nice you guys are.
Fuck them birds. Fly, Eagles, fly. Now we shoot those birds out of the sky. Stupid dumbasses managed to give up a 3rd and 30 to my sexy arm. Pathetic defense and team. No wonder I own those piece of shit frauds every damn year. Don't get me started on the fans. You boo me while I earned a respected award. Losing the Super Bowl was just karma for you fuckheads. I can't wait to drop 100 on your heads next season while being the daddy of the NFC East again.
No, I'm not. F them birds. Okay, so let me get started here and say hello to Angelica Barron. Angelica, I hope you got enough content here from the Red Brick House to get your fix going on. I've got another one going on. Wait till you, oh my God, I got something that we did today that is just literally makes the house just looks sexy. It looks, you can't wait to, I can't wait to show it, but it all ties in together and I absolutely love it. We got Lola, Miss Hot Sauce. What's up, Lola? And Joanne Gonzalez, what's up, JoJo? Alan Williams, what's up? Gina Dallas Diva, what's going on, girl? Oh, excuse me. Oh man, sorry, that didn't mean to do that one. I guess that's going to become a somebody's clip. Somebody had said, "Where's my shot glass and football?" Understand, we have over 400 of those that have to go out, and we're doing about 50 to 100 a week. So it's taking some time to get to all of those. In fact, all the tailgate members, we're making actually one of the shot glass holders, so that way you can pour 4 shot glasses at a time, so it takes some time to do all that stuff. So let me welcome actually everybody else into here. He drops 100, then he does magic. Okay, I don't know what that's it. Cowboys look like a bunch of garbage bags with numbers running around on. Literally, you were the first one in here just to go ahead. Is that all you got? Is that all you got? It's just garbage bags on the players? Okay. It's funny that those guys wearing garbage bags seem to have your number all the time. But be that as it may, I'm going to try not to lose my religion here tonight. I heard from my buddy Rashid. Shout out to everybody who made a donation to help Rashid. Rashid is doing much, much better. Was working on trying to find himself some housing and things like that. He, believe it or not, he broke his ankle on the one where he lost his toes. It's basically just kind of split, but it's healing. So he's got to stay completely off of it. He's been getting bold and not using his kneeling scooter and stuff, and it apparently split. So it's just like, ugh. But he's doing good from that standpoint. But he sent me a text earlier because I'm down here working the Red Brick House, and he's up at our house. He's really distraught. He's like, this is Odell Beckham Jr. all over again. And it's Miss Gibson. What's up tonight, Miss Gibson? How you doing? Alan, same here. This Texas heat is killing me. Yeah, be careful out there. They were saying that people in Arizona were having to go to the hospital because they were literally not getting like sunburns, like typical sunburns where you get red. They're getting burnt, okay, as in like, first-degree burns from the sun and stuff. So be careful with that heat out there. I guess you could cook a steak on a rock out there, not just an egg, as hot as this. Oh no, prayers for Rashid. Well, I think he's going to be okay with the diabetes and the kidney issues, but I'm not sure he's going to recover from the Giants because he's still thinking about Odell Beckham Jr. leaving, because it's like, they get players that they love. I believe he's got a Saquon jersey and stuff, and here it is, they just don't do him right. And so he's a little upset about this. And Saquon allegedly says, I'm not showing up for training camp. You can forget that. Now, I thought maybe this was one of those things, because you know how we all say, we're going to, like for example, a little kid, I'm going to run away, right? You know that kid ain't going to run away. He's hoping that you say, oh, no, Johnny, it's okay. Let me give you some lollipops, and he got his way and all that, right? And everything's good. But is he really going to run away if you don't give him the lollipops? So you wonder, was Saquon saying, nah, I'm not going to show up for training camp. I'll be there week 1 to get my check. If that was really going to be the case. And, there's two ways to look at things, because you have them, which is the front office, the guys that, the ownership and the general manager, the guys that have the money, your bosses, and then you got your coworkers and the locker room. And those are two totally different things, because, when you're out there, it's you and those 52 guys. That's my teammates. That's my buddies. We go to war together. The boss and all that, the man, screw that guy. F that guy. That contract that you didn't get, guys don't usually get upset because somebody else got paid. Now, I don't know if Saquon is going to be mad because Daniel Jones got the 40 burger contract and he's got 25% of it. If he's going to hold that against Daniel Jones, or just say, this is the nature of the beast, because every running back out there is pissed. Every one of them out there realizes we're never going to get paid. And from the standpoint now of being drafted and they own your rights for 4 years, you're not getting a big contract. There's no pot of gold at the end of the rainbow for you guys. You're going to be used, and you might get drafted high early. You're going to get run into the ground, and then you're going to be left on the side of the road like a bag of garbage. Yeah, I'm mad. Tired of all these trolls coming in here and starting their crap. Prescott has the Eagles' numbers. Takachi, yeah, the Eagles players look like green vomit and pigeon poop on the field. Dem boys kick, what's up? This year is going to be great. Lisa, what's up, Lisa? VIC, how you doing? How many players on the Cowboys team want a ring with the Cowboys? Okay. You know what? I'm trying to ignore. Okay, so do you actually have a real take? Real conversation? How you can tell us how this year it's going to be different, that Dak Prescott won't be able to put a 40 burger on you guys, or how you're actually going to win? Is all you have to add to the conversation just bullshit? Is that all you have? Because, see, you got to understand, I turned 58 this year. The same age or the same number as Super Bowls. And I have seen and remember almost all of them. And I remember 3 of them you guys being in. Or is it 4 of them you guys being in? 1980, I believe 2004, 17, and this past year. And you won 1 of 58. 1 of 58. So that's like 2%. 2%. So take your 2% hating, trolling ass the F out. Okay? Unless you actually have a real take. Okay? All right? Because I'm old. And I don't have patience and I don't have time to waste. And I got a lot of great friends in here that are on the same page with me. So you are welcome to come in. Just have a take, don't suck, and don't be an idiot. All right. back to the conversation here. So this is where all this stuff is relative for us. Tony Pollard, of course, is playing on the franchise tag. And quite frankly, when you look at it from the standpoint of actually getting the franchise tag, that 1 year guaranteed, versus Joe Mixon basically signing 2 years for $12 million, Tony Pollard kind of has a better deal. If he has a decent season, he can at least get $3 or $4 million someplace. And now you're talking about 13, 14 million, opposed to Joe Mixon's maxed out at 12. Now, if you're Saquon, I understand where Saquon is, because Saquon is like, yo, the numbers I put up last year, I'm one of the best in the league. I was basically the real weapon that Daniel Jones had. To pay Daniel Jones $40 million, to see what you've paid some of these receivers that you've brought in that haven't done crap, and you're only offering me this, I'd be kind of upset. I kind of also understand the Giants' standpoint. If we end up getting a 3 or 4 year deal and it ends up being that the next couple of years he's injured, do we want to do that? So it's Linda, how you doing? Here's the problem that you have, Linda. There are so many, especially on YouTube now, there are so many clickbaiters out there. I don't know if they're like from China or whatever, because what you'll see is you'll see a different name. They'll change the names up because you'll get used to saying, oh, that's bullshit. Because I saw one this morning that said Saquon signs for a 3-year, $39 million deal, and had a picture of Adam Schefter on it. And if you actually clicked on it, it was not him signing it. And so you've seen a lot of different things like that. But no, at 4:02, Barkley text on his verified Twitter account, it is what it is. So no, he did not sign. No. Josh Jacob, none of the franchise tags running backs got a deal. None of them. They will all be free agents at the end of this year. So it's all Dak's fault. Why haven't the Eagles? Oh, man. I see the trolls are here. You know what's funny? Besides Eagle fans, is I don't know what's going on with Philly 500. Philly 500 every single day. Every single day. It's like he's waiting on the corner for me to come by every day to just spew something. Every single day. Now, it's funny that last night, after continuously saying the Cowboys window's closing, and I don't understand why he keeps thinking that the Cowboys window is closing. We're one of the youngest teams out there. I know the new narrative is quarterbacks don't win after getting paid. Here's a funny thing. Quarterbacks don't win after 30 unless they're Peyton Manning and yada, 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 right? What's funny is, and they don't seem to remember this one, is they said when quarterbacks get paid, when you pay a quarterback, you don't win Super Bowls. Do y'all remember that? Remember when Dak Prescott got his contract, they said, oh, Dak Prescott can't win a Super Bowl now because you can't pay a quarterback. If you don't win it on the rookie quarterback, you can't win contract. Remember that? Do y'all remember that? They kept pounding it in our head that you can't win a Super Bowl if you pay a quarterback. Didn't Jalen Hurts just get paid? Didn't Josh Allen just get paid? Isn't Justin Herbert about to get paid? Isn't Joe Burrow getting paid? Then Pat Mahomes, so everybody's getting paid. So now that it's not Dak Prescott getting paid, Jalen Hurts, Lamar Jackson, all these guys got paid. They're not saying they can't win a Super Bowl. You realize that, right? So now, quarterbacks over 30, they don't win Super Bowls. So that's been Philly 500's battle cry, okay? So last night, he got a little butt hurt. Let's listen in.
Beat us all the time. I hated it. But Deshaun Jackson, one of the greatest deep threats I've ever seen in NFL history. There's no question about it. Now, I got to talk about this article, right? There's just some things that just drive me nuts. Some things drive me nuts. And there was this article, right? And the article said this. And this was on SportsIllustrated.com. It said, 49ers and Eagles among 11 NFL teams with closing Super Bowl windows. And the 49ers were ranked number 1 as the team with the quickest closing window. The second team with the quickest closing window they put on there, the Philadelphia Eagles. How on earth do they come up with this? I don't get at all. They obviously did not look at what Howie Roseman has done to this roster. They have not looked at the players that we have drafted, and I think it's absolutely insane. They had Dallas on this list at 8. Now, Dallas belongs on this list. There's no question about it to me. Because Dallas, first of all, has a quarterback that is going to go into this season, and he's going to be 30 years old. I think he turns 30. Oh, I don't remember when Dak turns 30, but it's sometime early this. I think it's the end of July or August, something like that. But he's going to be 30. They've got a lot of players going to be who are 30 or going to be 30. Now, this is what they said about the Dallas Cowboys, right? The window might be closing fast on the Cowboys with quarterback Dak Prescott in the third year of a 4-year extension. Prescott would have helped his contract situation in January had he delivered a postseason victory against the 49ers in the divisional round, where so many Cowboy seasons abruptly ended since the glory years of the 90s. Mm-hmm. They stink. Dallas hasn't advanced to an NFC championship game since 1995 and have won only 2 playoff games since Prescott became the starter in 2016. The Cowboys, who released running back Zeke Elliott in March, have reached a crossroads and will need to decide whether Prescott has what it takes to take them to the Super Bowl. This might be a make-or-break season for Prescott, but the Cowboys could be reluctant to start a full rebuild and give him a short-term contract similar to Vikings with Kirk Cousins. Why not be like Kirk Cousins? I mean, he's pretty much exactly Kirk Cousins anyways. Both a strong nucleus of players featuring edge rusher Parsons and CeeDee Lamb, Cowboys shouldn't be afraid to explore other options if Prescott doesn't deliver this season. So they mentioned 2 players. They don't talk about Zach Martin. They don't talk about Smith. They don't talk about DeMarcus Lawrence. They don't talk about any of these older players. Stephon Gilmore. They don't talk about Brandon Cook's going to be 30 this year when he's playing. They've got some older guys. How, with a 30-year-old quarterback who hasn't been able to get past the first round of playoffs, how is their window more open than the Philadelphia Eagles? It absolutely makes no sense, right? And here's what they said about the Eagles. I'm sorry, I said the Eagles were number 2. The Eagles were actually number 3. My fault. Here's what they said. Unlike the Bills, the Eagles probably don't feel a sense of urgency because GM Howie Roseman has a knack for quickly retooling rosters, and they won the Super Bowl in 2017. But many veterans such as Kelsey, Brandon Graham, Fletcher Cox likely decided to return to Philadelphia for another year because they wanted to win a Super Bowl with Jalen Hurts, the star quarterback who leaped into stardom last season with his play on the field. Mm-hmm. This likely will be Hurts' last year with those veterans, and it might be hard for Roseman to maintain a winning roster with Hurts signing a massive extension to stay in Philadelphia. This is complete crap. Complete crap. Roseman, however, got off to a productive start drafting defensive tackle Jalen Carter, edge rusher Nolan Smith in the first round this year. Hitting on draft picks is a big reason why Mahomes and the Chiefs remain competitive despite a tight salary cap. The Eagles are in a good place to compete for the foreseeable future with wide receivers Devontae Smith, A.J. Brown, cornerbacks Bradbury and Slay, but nothing is ever guaranteed in the NFL. The Eagles waited several decades. I fire Howie. Fucking fire him. Motherfucker! Stupid motherfucker! What an idiot! What an idiot! Dallas has Amari Cooper and Gallup, but we don't
Stupid! What are you doing? You just let Dallas take him.
To respond to Philly 500, when he goes through and he's going there and talking about how the window is closing because DeMarcus Lawrence is getting older, that Stephon Gilmore is getting older as well. I agree with those. Those guys are mixed in there. And he's talking about Zach Martin. You mean the Zach Martin that was just voted the best interior offensive lineman? I think that's what they said about Zach Martin. But you are right. Those guys are getting older. But here's what you have to look at, though. The Cowboys end up looking like they got themselves a stud at left tackle / guard in Tyler Smith. You can look and say that they did great with a young guy like Terrence Steele, who's going into his 4th season, who was an undrafted rookie free agent who is about to get paid. Zach Martin still has several good years. Biadasz ended up he's still relatively young. He's going into his 4th year. Biadasz, of course, Pro Bowler last year. So you look at those guys and say they're pretty good. And true, DeMarcus Lawrence is getting older, but still playing at a good level when he's not injured. But see, here's the thing that you're not counting, is you look at a guy like Sam Williams, who is his backup, who is 6'4", 261 pounds, and runs a 4.46 40. And in a part-time role, limited basis, ended up having 4 sacks. And true, a guy like Dante Fowler, who is a role player, is long in the tooth. That guy, I believe, had 6 sacks last year. You could also look and say Dorrance Armstrong, who's only in his 5th year in the NFL, who had 8 sacks. But see, here's the thing that you have when you start thinking about your cornerstone pieces. Micah Parsons is only going his 3rd year. Diggs is going into his 4th year. CeeDee Lamb is going into his 4th year. When you look at the Cowboys as a whole, when you think of Peyton Hendershot, Jake Ferguson, and now Schoonmaker, your tight ends are 2 years or less. And then you have guys who you didn't even expect to play last year, and like Damone Clark, who had his back fused last year. Last year when the Cowboys drafted him, he couldn't go through training camp. He couldn't work out. And we basically looked at it and said, he's going to be basically a red shirt. But he actually played a limited role and had 49 tackles last year. So when you think about him, and he played very, very well. When you think about him versus, say, Jacoby Dean, who Philly 500 is saying is going to lead the team in tackles, and he's going to be a Pro Bowler, he had 13 tackles last year. When you look and say, we've got Jordan Davis, big Jordan Davis that needs to put down the cheesesteaks, who is a 2-down player last year, who was injured, had a total of, I think, 18 tackles. Am I wrong on that, or was it 13? Of course, understanding, and believe me, I understand the nose roll. Your job is not to get tackles. But the way they proceed to talk about Jordan Davis, you would think it was Reggie White. And I believe Reggie White, let me look it up real quick. Reggie, excuse me. Because his rookie year, I want to get it right, because Reggie White had 13 sacks as a defensive end and defensive tackle. Yeah, they didn't have tackles back in then. But when you talk about having somebody who is great, game changer and stuff, let's be clear here. John Ridgeway, a guy that we let go, had better numbers than Jordan Davis last year with the Commanders. Just kind of putting it out there. I'm sure I'm going to get all kinds of hate from the Eagle fans that say I'm crazy, but John Ridgeway was a player play last year and did a lot more than what Jordan Davis did. But hey, what do I know? I'm just a...
By the way, King Dick back here, and so before we start this video, I gotta get this mother humping thing out of the way. Mark Holmes is my daddy. Okay, that's out of the way. Ow!
Okay, so I'm going to answer I'm going to ask a question with a comment that's in here. Dan, welcome to the channel. Dan, I've never seen you here before. We have a lot of fans that are out there that say, if we get rid of Dak, the money will balance itself. Got to give the front office credit at some point. Here's the thing that's kind of interesting to me is people keep talking about the money with Dak Prescott. Okay? Dak Prescott's contract this year is less money than what Carson Wentz's hit was last year. The year before, his cap hit number was $19 million. The year before that, it was $17 million. And for the first 3 years of his contract, it was only $680,000. The crazy thing is for all these people that say, if we just get rid of Dak, we got money to do things. You had his rookie year, his second year, his third year where you were paying your quarterback less than $1 million. His fourth year, you paid him $2 million. So when you weren't paying him, how come you didn't go out there and bring in all these players that were going to make you a Super Bowl team? Now, hypothetically, okay, I'm going to play this game with you, Dan. Dan, who's going to play quarterback? I'm asking a real question because I always hear, get rid of the quarterback. When you see teams out here like the Jets that say, we've drafted number one guys over and over again. We drafted Sam Darnold the first round. We ended up getting, dude hanging out with Stifler's mom, drafted him in the first round, right? And now you go ahead and trade draft capital to get Aaron Rodgers, who last year could not beat the Detroit Lions. Let me say this again. Could not beat the Detroit Lions the last week of the season at home when the Lions had nothing to play for. Oh, and by the way, Aaron Rodgers, the year before, that San Francisco team that we lost to, they lost to the next week, and he put up 12 points. So the last two playoff scenarios of Aaron Rodgers are losses. They're losses. And if you want to go back the year before, when they were the number one seed, didn't make it to the Super Bowl. So you can look at Aaron Rodgers and say the last two playoff games he played were losses, and the win and get in playoff game basically was a loss too. But be that as it may, the Jets said, let's get that guy. Let's get that guy. The Rams had built a great team, and they said, let's get a quarterback to go with a great team. So I ask you, instead of saying, let's go out and give two number ones for another quarterback, because I don't know who you'd give two number ones for right now. And mind you, when you're talking about two number ones, let's say Micah Parsons and Mozzie Smith. Those were our two number ones the last 2 years. Potentially, you're giving up that to try and get who? Would you say we should have given up Mozzie Smith, Micah Parsons, basically, to get Russell Wilson? Does that make us a better team? Is what Russell Wilson is going to do for the team more than what Dak Prescott's going to do, minus Tyler Smith and Micah Parsons? I'm asking real. I'm not trying to belittle you. I'm asking this factually because I don't think people, when they say trade Dak, just get rid of Dak and get somebody else. A, you can't trade him because there's no trade clause in there. But then they say it costs too much money for Dak Prescott. Well, the reality is it actually doesn't. They'll focus in and say, well, next year his cap number is $59 million. Well, technically this year his cap number was going to be 49. You see where I'm going here? What they say it's going to be next year is bullshit because they have two voidable years in there that they can play with. They'll go through and, we're sitting here looking at Jalen Hurts' contract. Quite frankly, that's a ticking time bomb. If Jalen Hurts ends up being a one-hit wonder, the Eagles are screwed. So I'm still wanting to know, what is your solution? I hear people say, just draft a quarterback. Because that, of course, always works. And the Cowboys are great at drafting quarterbacks. Remember, they wanted Paxton Lynch. Jerry wanted Johnny Manziel. The Cowboys actually lucked into their last two franchise quarterbacks, because you can follow the timeline and look at Troy Aikman, Hall of Famer, and then all of the Washington-esque quarterbacks, I'll say. And somehow, little old Tony Romo, an undrafted guy who got to hang around the team for 4 years before he got his shot, ended up being really good. And a guy they said, well, all the guys we really wanted are gone. We need a camp body. Let's draft Dak Prescott. And he turns out to be a franchise quarterback. So to think that all of a sudden now the Cowboys know how to find a quarterback, giving up what it's going to take that risk, I'll take Dak. I'll keep my draft picks, and I'll try and surround them. Because, see, that's the difference. The Cowboys haven't gone all in like the Rams did or like Tampa Bay did. And it's not just Tom Brady. When Tom Brady went there, it ended up being that Gronk went there, one of the greatest tight ends in the history of football. Ndamukong Suh goes there, as well as other great players. So you have a super team. You can look at the Rams and say, we didn't just get Matthew Stafford. We ended up getting a Von Miller to help out on that defense that made a difference in the Super Bowl. We went out, even though we had Cooper Kupp and we had, Jones Jefferson or whatever his name is right there. We're going to bring in an Odell Beckham Jr. We're going to add some more talent around to make sure that we get there. Cowboys ain't done that. And that's where I still believe that last year was, Dak Prescott, we're sending you a message. We're going to take away your toys and Cedric Wilson and Amari Cooper because you want to be, take so much money. We're going to tell you, we can't fill out a roster because we're paying the quarterback. And he still ended up getting us in the playoffs, still got a blowout against Tampa Bay, which seems to be forgotten. Jalen Hurts isn't a one-hit wonder. His teammates want to play with him and make him look good. Same as when Mike Vick came back and the homies wanted to play with him. Okay, wanting to play, your teammates wanting to play and play with you has nothing to do whether or not you are the same guy the second year. Carson Wentz had a great second year, but wasn't the same going forward. And there's many quarterbacks that are that way. Because here's the thing. I know Eagle fans, you guys are so, your head is swollen. Your head is swollen. But understand, when last season took off, you guys weren't sure about Jalen Hurts. You don't act like you were, because Howie Roseman was talking to Russell Wilson. That game against Tampa Bay, you could see he didn't have enough weapons. He was lost. So Howie Roseman did an incredible thing. He said, I'm going to support this guy 100%. And if he fails, I got draft picks that I can use to go ahead and get me another guy. He went out and got an A.J. Brown. And this is where you look at and realize the Titans were freaking idiots. In the same way, us Dallas Cowboys were freaking idiots. You don't get rid of a great wide receiver and think you're going to be the same. A.J. Brown made the difference because that guy got separation. And because that guy got separation, that means that Devontae Smith got separation. You have a great tight end in Dallas Goedert, who was the safety valve. You had a running game that was really good. But still, you only had 22 touchdown passes from your quarterback. Now, here's what's going to happen. Because, see, I know you guys don't think that it's possible. But defensive coordinators have studied every single play, every single tendency that your guy has now. I can guarantee you Jalen Hurts may have a great season, but I can guarantee you he ain't going to find an open middle where he's going to run up the middle anymore. He's not. Trust me. Defenses will devise a way to stop what you are doing. We saw that with RG3. RG3 and the pistol offense when it came out, oh my God. Teams didn't know what to do it. I saw a Hall of Famer, a guy we'll see in a couple of weeks, DeMarcus Ware, dumbfounded, literally standing there because he didn't know what to do. Do I go after the quarterback or do I go to the receiver? And just watch RG3 go past him. But teams realize, here's what we got to do. Here's what we got to do. Keep his ass in the pocket. If he comes around the outside, knock the snot out of him. And they found out he wasn't great in the pocket. Now, your guy's got all the love in the world, and hey, he deserved it for last year. He made believers out of you Eagle fans to the point where you're crazy when you think that he is the best quarterback, out there. Some of y'all think he's better than Pat Mahomes, even though he lost to Pat Mahomes on one leg. It was actually your defense that sucked up because you did score 34 points. The most points that a loser has ever scored in the Super Bowl. So you're going to be seeing probably a harder year because you will also be playing teams that now want a piece of your ass. They know that if we beat the Eagles with the hype train that's on them, that makes us look that much better. They're going to want what you have. Trust me. And you got a tough schedule there. I don't think you guys realize that you've got like 7 games in a row with teams that were playoff teams last year. 2 of which are against the Cowboys, a team that has put up, as much as you guys say, Dak Prescott sucks. Well, he don't suck against you guys. That guy always puts up 40-plus points. So, enjoy yourself right now. Enjoy yourself right now. It's going to be a tough season for you and your birds. And you can't make cuts. For you Eagle fan, and what's that guy's name here? Let's see, Dan, where are you, Dan? Casey Stewart, what's up, Casey?
Fuck them birds. Fly, Eagles, fly. Now we shoot those birds out of the sky. Stupid dumbasses managed to give up a 3rd and 30 to my sexy arm. Pathetic defense and team. No wonder I own those piece of shit frauds every damn year. Don't get me started on the fans. You boo me while I earned a respected award. Losing the Super Bowl was just karma for you fuckheads. I can't wait to drop 100 on your heads next season while being the daddy of the NFC East again.
No, I'm not.
Okay. Tunchili? Okay. True. You're right. Listen to what you just said. You just made my point. Hurts went to the playoffs with nothing the year before, and we got him weapons and the Super Bowl, and they gave Dak weapon, first-round exit. I don't know what weapon they gave Dak Prescott last year. I don't know. Please tell me what weapon they gave Dak Prescott. They took his weapons last year. They took Amari Cooper last year. They took his number 3 wide receiver in Cedric Wilson. Noah Brown, who might not make the Texans. Let me say that again. Noah Brown, who ended up being our 2nd leading receiver last year. No disrespect to Noah Brown. He should be a 4th or 5th receiver. He was our number 2 leading receiver last year because Michael Gallup and him could not separate. Has gone to the Texans and may not make the roster. Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth? Do you understand that? That was our number 2 wide receiver. Michael Gallup. Bless his heart, because he shouldn't have been out there as soon as he was. He was not anywhere close to ready. So as you say, you made the playoffs and got blown out by Tampa Bay the year before. You went out and got weapons. We took weapons away. and still made the playoffs. Still, even with Cooper Rush, the game was in doubt. And with Dak, 40 points. And don't give me this saying that, well, Jalen Hurts didn't play, because you got 36 points, which was above your season average. Come on, man. You're a good team. I'm not disputing that. You're a good team. Are you the greatest team of all time and that you're automatically going back to the Super Bowl? Come on, bro. Come on. A little slice of humble pie. You didn't win the Super Bowl. You lost it. And guys that lose the Super Bowl, they're usually not as good next year. Adrian, what's up, man? I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. I'm chilling, Regina. How are you? I'm chilling. You know, I'm just sitting here actually trying to have a conversation with my people, my Cowboy fans, and we always end up having some of these damn Eagle idiots come in. Yeah, lost with Dak, CD, and Cooper. Okay. And our defense wasn't as good. How about that? So, you know, here's what's so funny about you Eagle fans is how no matter what the Cowboys do, it's always considered, you know, the goalposts get moved. Nobody thought the Cowboys were going to be a playoff team even last year. Let's be clear here. The Cowboys didn't do anything to make their team better. Somehow, second in the division, win a wild card game, play well. 12-5, back-to-back seasons. When nobody, with first place schedule, when nobody thought they were going to do anything. So now it's like, oh, well, you know, you didn't make the Super Bowl. Nobody thought the Cowboys were going to be a Super Bowl team last year. I didn't think
the franchise for Super Bowl.
I didn't think they were going to be a Super Bowl team last year.
Who done that? And some of them.
Stop, Philly. Shut up. Let me go. Let me be clear. See, this is the bull crap that you're getting from people. Let me see if I can find it. Let me remind you.
That's a great one.
Let me remind you guys.
Think about how negative it's all been.
Yeah.
Listen.
And I, you know, God bless the Cowboys. I know you guys are the flagship. They let you guys say whatever you want to say. For like my time, my 3 years there's only one time, Sean, that they said, yeah, don't ask that question. Everything else, it's been fair game.
Yeah.
Not everybody does that. We saw with the Washington Commanders.
Yes.
With their flagship station saying, oh, thank God we can talk about the Commanders now. No longer affiliated with them.
Right.
So, but I looked at really, when I looked at just like a day-by-day timeline, you know, they beat the Eagles on January 8th. They lost 2 out of their 3 games, right? They blamed the officials for basically 2 of the 3 losses, which is terrible. Dak Prescott sits there and endorses fans throwing junk at officials after the San Francisco game. He has to come out and apologize. You've got a PR director who retires. No big deal. 2 weeks later, there's this horrible story about him being accused of voyeurism, which he denied.
Yep.
But the Cowboys have to throw a $2.5 million check at 4 cheerleaders. Dak Prescott has another surgery. The Cowboys trade a wide receiver that they used the number 1 pick on back in 2018 in exchange for a 5th because the coaching staff doesn't like him, right? Then they give all this money to a guy who tore his ACL on January 2nd. Michael Gallup's not going to be ready for camp, right? Tank Lawrence is their best pass rusher. He comes back, that's a highlight. Jerry Jones gets named in a, Springer-like lawsuit. Randy Gregory, whom the Cowboys stuck by despite the fact that he had done nothing for them for years, gives them the middle finger, right, on a flip. Then they've got to cut Lyle Collins because the coaching staff didn't like him. But they kept their punter.
Literally. Okay. Compare that to the Eagles offseason where you traded during the draft, got A.J. Brown, and moved up for Jordan Davis, who was going to be the all-world guy. You guys ended up bringing in guys like Ndamukong Suh. You ended up going out and getting former player we had, pass rushers on the edge. You guys went out and got player after player after player. Of course you guys did well. Of course you did. We didn't do any of that. All that stuff that happened last year. Last year, this time, we were killing the Cowboys. Are you kidding me? They don't care about winning. Everybody thought the Cowboys were tanking to get rid of Mike McCarthy and get Sean Payton. That was speculation. We weren't expected to do anything. Now, all of a sudden, the Cowboys season was a failure. Failure, hell. I say they overachieved. But it's all good. And turn chili, or whatever you are, shout out to you. You're sitting here talking about your one Super Bowl and saying that some teams have 0, which is true. That's true. So as you are patting yourself on the back for having won, how is it that you can turn around and talk about the Cowboys? Because we've been playing the Super Bowls the same years. The same years. We started in 1960. The Super Bowl started in 1965. Some teams have 5. How come it's so hard to say, you know what? Yeah, during your history, that's kind of cool that you had 5. You haven't gotten any lately, but we know how hard it was to get 1. You can't do that, can you? Can't recognize that. You know, I was there when you guys won your Super Bowl. And it was actually really kind of cool because cool and kind of creepy at the same time. Because I was on the very end. We got the steps right beside me. And then on the other side of the steps was this couple who had been season ticket holders since 1973. She lived through all of those bad years. You know, that one Super Bowl where Ron Jaworski and stuff, they got their ass handed to them. She lived through the Donovan McNabb tossing his cookies at midfield. All of those years of watching the Cowboys win the Super Bowl and stuff. Those two, I was actually happy for them. To see the joy and the anger of as that game went through, and to see these old people slopping all over each other when they won, it was actually pretty cool. And I congratulated them and said, I'm happy for you. And I'm happy that you finally got one. But just because you guys did well doesn't mean that nobody else did. You follow what I mean? I can give credit to the Eagles and say, you guys did some great things to help your quarterback. You got the best offensive line in football. You got yourself a good running game. You got yourself a good coaching staff, although you did lose 2 coordinators, and that might have an effect too. And you did lose 7 starters, and that may have an effect too. And you're relying on a bunch of young guys. But be that as it may, you went out and said, I'm going to get guys that are going to help my quarterback succeed. Those are wonderful things. And that worked almost to perfection until the loss happened. I can at least say that. Why is it that you guys can't say, you know what, Cowboys, we thought you were going to be really bad last year. You surprised us. You played better than we thought you were. Didn't make it all the way, but you actually had a pretty good season. But then again, Cowboy fans can't even do that. So as we're rolling through here, time is flying. I keep trying to get here to talk about my team and to talk about the Giants, of course, being panic mode right now because they didn't pay Barkley. It's always you damn Eagle turds that come in here and messing things up for everybody else. Are we going to pay Tony Pollard big money? Junebug, shout out to Junebug, man. Haven't seen you in a long time, buddy. How you doing? No. Tony Pollard is on the franchise tag, and we know what the Cowboys do, when it comes to paying the running backs. They didn't with DeMarco Murray, and in some regards, and you look at DeMarco Murray going to the Eagles, it kind of screwed the Eagles over. We ended up getting a compensatory pick that we used for Dak Prescott. We paid Zeke Elliott, and you have to honestly look at from the time we paid Zeke from the time we paid Zeke, you didn't really get the return on the investment that you thought you were going to get. So understanding that Tony Pollard has had the plantar fasciitis, has had the broken ankle, and has had some injuries, and knowing that he can't be a bellwether back, a guy who you don't want him to have more than 15 or 20 touches in a game, I don't see them turning around at the end of this year saying, we're going to give you a boatload of money when the running back market has been screwed. Not when you think that Saquon will be out there, Josh Jacobs will be out there. I'm thinking Dalvin Cook is probably going to sign a one-year deal, probably about $6 or $7 million at best. So there is no more big contracts, Junebug, for running backs. And you're right, Game Time. It's not your fault talking about the Eagles tonight. We every show, and I don't know if it's like they just changed their profile to come in because they just like to argue or whatever. But they come in here just kind of defecating, all over the place and just trashing my team. And I feel the need to respond, and maybe I need to stop because I need to take care of all my good people in here. E-Girls mod? What E-Girls mod? There is no E-Girl mod in here. Don't count participation trophies. Ooh. Running back, the new fullback. You get to the point where you're wondering if running backs are going to become extinct because they definitely aren't getting paid. Okay, so Dan, let me say bye-bye, Dan. Okay, if that's all you have to bring to the channel, and I'm sure you'll go out and make another profile and come back because we know who you are. Okay, that's there's no need for stuff like that. That's bye-bye. Okay. You're not running nothing but your loud mouth. If Philly doesn't, Dallas not either, Allen. I don't understand that one. Most Eagle fans don't know how to walk and talk in real life. NFC Championship fans, a.k.a. Cowboy fans. Yeah, you have one left, Mark. Twiz. Twiz is okay. Twiz has been all right. Has Kildolphy been in here whining tonight? Who is Stan? Oh, okay. Have you ever seen Eminem's video where he talks about Stan, the crazy fan? I've got my own Stan, who is Psycho Stan. See you later, Dan the man. A stalker that has multiple YouTube profiles, yeah. And literally uses each one of those profiles to talk to himself. Literally. Cray. So that's where we are. That's about really all we have right now. We have Eagle fans that believe they're the greatest thing since sliced bread. And when they fail this year, I'm curious if we'll actually see them anymore. That's what I want to know. What's up, iRock? How you doing? Walker, who's saying Philly might go 8-9 while Dallas might go 10-13? You can't run the East when you're not the ones winning the East and going to the Super Bowl. Shaking my head. Okay. Definitely a weirdo activity that's been obsessed. Okay. Turn chili. I don't know why you're hanging in here with us Cowboy losers and stuff in here. I don't know why you are dumbing yourself down because we're just not worthy like you Eagle fans and stuff. So maybe what you should do is hang out with some other Eagle fans as opposed to hanging here with Cowboy ones. You see me when the Eagles lose the Cowboys nation. Yeah, look, see, I can respect Logan Motorsports. I can respect Philly 500. Guys that show up, win or lose, that are actually real fans, that actually have takes that aren't just Dak sucks or, there's a biracial thing or, just straight up hate. And I'm tired of just straight up hate. Mark, they're afraid of our wide receivers and want to go man-to-man against them. Oh, they don't want to go man-to-man against our guys. But, I can't wait to see the fact that we will actually have some guys that'll be able to get separated. I'm excited to see Michael Gallup if he's returned to form from, now that he's a year further away from the ACL injury. I can't wait to see what Brandon Cooks does in there. But we actually have to get ready to get up out of here, good people, because it's been a long day. I have been here for 15 hours, and we're going to be, I got to do my fireside chat and get ready for a new day tomorrow. We have a week and 2 days until training camp starts, and I've got to say I appreciate each and every one of you guys, and I tolerate you Eagle fans. As always, I appreciate each and every one of you guys. It's time to turn out the lights. This party's over.
Turn out the lights. The party's over. They say that all good things must end. Call it a night.